my name is James Craddock, and I am the author of Kinetic Avatars, the 8 characters in your marketing message, the trademark holder and creator of Story Integrated Marketing, and also the creator and trademark holder of 4DStory. And I tell you that because there's a path of progression that happened there as this platform of 4DStory and this vision that I have that I want to share with you came about. You know, there's a innate passion in all of us to be of help and to serve, and as the world of internet marketing and selling on the internet has started to converge and started to really become tangible, the overarching message, the benefit that came out of this convergence of how we go about attracting business has been that service has been elevated to a new level. And so to serve is a powerful business ethic. It's something that pulls people towards you, right? Because who doesn't want somebody who's serving them? We understand the concept at its base. And so what we want to do innately is serve. Well, I happen to be one of those people that is dialed into this idea and love to serve. I get something out of it. I mean, to a point sometimes where I have to remember that it's important for us to serve and be served, because it's a two-way street. And when you have that communication, wow, there is this human connection that happens at the soul level, at the spirit level, at the mind level that really puts people in an alignment where they can succeed. This is the kind of power and energy that we try to extract out of our teams and our groups and our partnerships and everywhere in life when, as two humans having our own experience, we try to interact. And if it's done right, then 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 3. It equals something bigger, something more. Well, I believe that everybody has more in them. In fact, I don't think that you can grow enough to where you don't need an icon for the next step. And of course, any good business coach, life coach, these kind of mentors will tell you that having an icon, somebody or something that you can follow whose footsteps, and a lot of times it has to be somebody deceased and somebody in history, but whoever it is, we mold that image that we are able to identify with, and we follow it to a successful place. I was taught early on that if you want to be successful, you have to imitate success. And in the beginning, until you're at a footing place where you can step off, that is a very true statement. And here I'm talking about the fact that coaches and passionate pastors and gurus who teach philosophy and psychology of everything from marketing to a sport like fishing. Anybody that is doing that is trying to create an image of what could be, and then they draw you towards that image. 4DStory, in its biggest vision, is that opportunity. It's the ability for you to create a conceptual recognition character, or as I call them, CRCs for short, and put it out on social media. You create the character as the highest form, highest vision that you have of yourself, that you would be comfortable answering to, the thing that's inside of you that you can't seem to get out. But when you create a character and launch it into this storyland that we've created, and this 4DStory, and it's able to interact not only with characters in a fictional setting, in a 4-dimensional kind of multi-perspective way, but that character's also able to interact with fans. And the fans have a channel and a pipeline to come back to the story makers in real time through analytics, as well as commentary and comments and things of this nature in social media, to affect and influence the story in all the different channels that they're watching it. A story that comes to them. But the beautiful thing is, it could be coming to them and they could be watching it unfold, having put their own character in play, maybe through an agent or a broker or somebody that can get them placed into a story. And they put their own character in play, and they can watch how that character, that vision of themselves that they poured into this through a philosophical platform of kind of like modules that help you discern your life and help you quickly get at where everything goes. They put all that and then interject everything that you'd want to add to that perfect thing into a single entity. And that entity is a character, a conceptual recognition character, and place it in a 4D story. When you do that, you now have the ability to follow the one person you've always been trying to get at following. And that's the higher version of you. That's the best you think you can be, that you can stop, and with the help of coaches and all kinds of things that we have in the back end that feed this thing, you can create the perfect character that you want to now deploy into the real world through a fictional interface. And you can, through this entertainment medium, actually grow. That's right. The models that build the infrastructure of all of this, in my opinion, the reason I chased after these trademarks, the reason I have creative friends that are supporting me in this venture, the reason they see the potential for profit as well as a new social virtue, you might say, the reason is because all of this, when it works together, it becomes the new platform for Web 4.0. 4DStory is Web 4.0. It's the interacting of this entire social structure of characters that will arise to interact, that will arise to have maybe Bitcoin come in and undergird them and the entire thing. My vision is that there is an entire opportunity before us in this platform of 4DStory to put a new layer on an existing infrastructure, one which we now know as Web 3.0, that is coming to its maturity. It works. It's in the internet marketing world. What are we going after now? We're looking for the next thing in technology, not the next strategy. Why? Because the strategies are all now out there. Everybody knows about them. They're built into the software packages, even if you don't know about them. And the ability to get ahead of the curve, to do something new and different, is shrinking. And I've watched a lot of the gurus that were in a heyday just loud and proud and making it. And they're still making it. But there's no new stuff. They're making it with new rehashes. They're making it with reaching new people because the market itself is going. But there's not something new that's pushing along the way that the initial internet marketing bubble did. And that's what I think we can bring to the party here. And this isn't my vision. This is a vision that I learned from watching everything. From watching what everybody was doing. I seen the platform. I saw that it could be. But it took a lot to get it to the point where I could hold it in front of you and say, guys, I think this is 4DStory, and I think this is where we're going. Here's what I see. Would you like to add to it? And if I invite you to add to it, would you help me contribute to the bigger picture of serving one another and growing? And I think the new social platform will not be about good content. Good content is even mature. Now it's going to be about good story, and it's going to be about good growing. It's going to be about feeding a story on the internet, coming across in this 4D perspective, built upon this paradigm, and sent out through social media channels. With all these different channels having all these different ways of presenting content, the story comes at you not only in different ways with different perspectives and different media through different voices and all kinds of things we'll come up with to do, but it also allows us to react back and interact and influence the story. It watches to see which characters are getting the most influence on the story and how things are interacting. It puts so much power in the hands of the creator to really influence those who are watching. And what happens at that juncture, that right there where they meet at that emotional level, that's where a transaction of value can happen. That's where a product which has proven itself and is fully documented out here can easily meet with the consumer's desire for it. And the reason is because the consumer has been drawn in through the story and brought to a point where they now have be adapted to the character, and if the character needs it in the story, they need it. And there are subtle ways, so many subtle ways, to place influence in a story at a moment of absolute emotional high in a particular venue for the marketer to to subtly, and I don't mean like product placement like you see in the movies, there's other strategies to get across that they need to buy this. And trust me, when you look at the back end of the auto replenishment and how it works, now suddenly the people that get into the story are really into the story. And their whole lives start revolving around it. And everything they do and how they interact on the web and the way everybody else is accumulating that information to interact with them, search engines and what, all of them now are caught up into this character. Because we've structured the character with a sound infrastructure and a strategy for implementing it and then bringing it all the way back to data tables that we can then disseminate into, data mining and actually do a lot of stuff with it, we can control the story. Marketers can control the emotional response of their clients. Characters can come to life and help people recognize who they could be if they would just step out of whatever problem is keeping them down. On and on and on the applications go for this type of thing. And the way it's structured is you have story pods. And a single story pod has 7 members. And we've identified how that works. And those 7 members in that story pod act as a studio and they create 4D stories. That's what we're doing with Taylaya. Taylaya.com, Taylaya.com is our school. It's our 4D school for getting started, understanding how the landscape of 4D story is not only structured, but how it is moving forward. And you'll get this entire base of knowledge by going through the courses in that school. And what happens is these characters that we create, they're fed by paradigms of truth and paradigms of insight and wisdom through a process fed by gurus, fed by people who are out there right now teaching the things that are helping you. But we've taken it and we've kind of gathered it all up and given it a new place to flow so that its energy could be dissipated with the leverage of all this new technology that's around us. And everybody, by doing that, it's kind of like crowd therapy. Everybody can get on board. And they can get on board totally anonymous, and they can get on board and get the influence and the verification that they need through a character that can't be hurt, that they can just stay completely separate from. And in my heart, when I see the generations that are coming up disconnected and maybe a little confused, man, they need something that they can get a hold of that doesn't make them go all the way back to old school. Something that says we have embraced where you started your race. And we've embraced it, and we've given you something. We've given you something that'll take you all the way down the road. If we're not doing that, what are we doing, right? And so that's the big vision. That's the passion. Break it down, and there's opportunity to build pods. There's opportunities for writers, because I like writers. I'm a writer, attempting. And there's an opportunity for the writers to become the centric part of the entertainment industry, because these writing pods are usually held by a writer, but it's basically a producer. He gets a writer and he gets a creative guy, and then we've got all these things figured out, and he says we're going to create a story and we're going to put it out on the web, and we're going to have to create characters. But if we don't want to create characters, we'll hire characters, we'll rent characters, we'll bring characters in under a contract, and we will give them a portion of what we make money on. And what happens is this team gets together and they create these relationships, and they go on the web and they present a story that enraptures the public, and the public loves them, and they gain all kinds of notoriety, and then they capitalize on it while it's happening. Well, that's what goes on every day anyway. All we're doing is bringing all of those ideas into a much more palatable place, and then using that leverage to infuse good character traits, good business sense, good ideas, good understanding of the metaphysical world, a real understanding of how the whole idea of attracting wealth and attracting clients and attracting stuff comes to you. What it means to build some value in your boots and stand in them and watch the heavens open up. That's what I want. And all I'm asking you is that you, with a little grace, because you can see I'm a little passionate about it, allow me to pull you my way. Give me your ears. Lend me your ears, countrymen. And allow me to show you the dawn of a new day. A dawn that is ruled, or at least layered, by a power found in 4D story. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to empowering your story. And I'm gonna cry.